Well, good day. So, for today's video, we're gonna talk about the first cartoon appearance of Hawkgirl. So, alright, let's go.
Yeah. So, we start off in space, where a couple of astronauts have docked a space shuttle with the Skylab space station. But technological failures abound! The docking mechanism has completely failed, and somehow it's disrupting the entire systems on board both the station and the shuttle. Worse yet, it's causing both of them to drift away from Earth's orbit. Therefore, NASA is completely freaking out. So they ask the Super Friends for help. Wonder Woman hops in her invisible jet and goes up to lend a hand, and as well, Hawkman and Hawkgirl hop in their fancy Hawk jet to lend a wing, I guess. Meanwhile, the astronauts are in full panic mode, and really understandably so. They're basically drifting in open space. So in a last-ditch effort to help themselves, they try to rewire the systems and fix the problems right there and then. But everything is now worse. Oh my god, like so much worse! The propulsion systems have kicked in, and now the Skylab is hurtling towards the sun, and the shuttle is flying towards Pluto. Holy jeez, eh? Wonder Woman goes to save the Skylab, which is almost now at the sun. Almost at the sun? Holy crap, like how fast is this thing going? Jeez. But still, like, man, hopefully she can make it in time, because, you know, for one, burning up in the sun is bad, and for two, the Skylab is almost out of oxygen. So even if you save them from the sun, they're still kinda screwed. So for Wonder Woman to catch the Skylab, she hops out on one of the wings of her jet and tries to lasso the station in. What? Are you serious? She's lassoing this thing manually? So you're telling me that the technology on her jet is so advanced that it can make her jet invisible, and it can also fly in space, but it doesn't have anything like a tractor beam, or even a grappling hook, or even, dare I say, a plunger connected to a rope? Nothing? Okay. Sadly, the lasso trick does not work because they are caught in the gravity well of the sun. So she flies her jet really fast around the Skylab, giving it an artificial gravity, and now they just basically fly in orbit, so yay! Elsewhere, Hawkman and Hawkgirl make it to the space shuttle, and they gotta have better success, right? Like, the technology on their Hawkjet has got to be pretty good. Like, it is a spaceship after all. And they are from a spacefaring species, so, you know, should be an easy save, right? Well, kind of. The best thing they have is a suction cup attached to a rope. You see, Wonder Woman? That's what I'm talking about! But they have to attach this thing manually, so Hawkman goes out of the Hawkjet to do this jab. But wouldn't you know it, in the vastness of space, these guys get caught up in a meteor shower. Of course, right? Like when it rains, it pours. And pours meteors, I guess. Hawkgirl uses the Hawkjet as a shield for Hawkman and the space shuttle so he can complete the mission. Also, I guess, you know, to be fair, it's not just a suction cup on a rope, it's a lifeline. Not only does it tether the two ships together, but it also feeds much needed oxygen into the space shuttle. Which is pretty cool because Wonder Woman drives by with the Skylab and gives them a refuel on air as well. But she like totally drove by the planet Earth, which has an abundance of oxygen. Why not just drive to the planet? Let those guys breathe air, you know? You've flown across Earth the same distance from the sun, but her plan works, you know, so it's all good. And with all of that, the day is saved! Hooray! The shuttle and Skylab are completely repaired, they're both put back in Earth's orbit, and the astronauts can continue their space mission. And with that, that is abruptly the end of this wonderful tale.
Hey, So yeah, man, your classic Super Friends episode. And like, man, you know, realistically, like, no offense to Wonder Woman or anything, like, I love her and all, but there is no way those astronauts in the Skylab survived anything in here. None! You know, they're getting sucked into the sun and they have no air. Yeah, they're dead. In fact, this whole episode is probably them just having a fever dream seconds before they get destroyed by the sun. Their mind is playing tricks on them on how wonderful it would be if they actually survived this somehow. Which, yeah, no, they didn't. Crazy, right? These episodes don't have to follow any kind of logic, you know, or science or whatever, but just in case you wanted to know, the fastest someone can get from the Earth to the sun is 8 minutes. And when I say 8 minutes, I mean they are going at the speed of light, which humans have not been able to do on purpose or accidentally. So yeah, like you're right next to the sun and you only have 1 minute of oxygen left. Man, like you're not making it. But they did, so what do I know, I guess, eh? But with all of that, you know, that's all fine and hip, but the one thing that really I just couldn't wrap my head around is, what the heck are those astronauts wearing? They don't look like astronauts at all. In fact, it looks like they're going to play cricket and it's their turn to go up to bat. Did the artists on the series ever see an astronaut before? But still pretty good episode, right? Like, it's awesome to see Hawkman and Hawkgirl teamed up for the first time. Really, in the comic books, man, they are a pretty awesome 1-2 punch, so to see them together fighting, you know, to help people is pretty awesome. Even though we've barely seen them help anybody, you know, still, they were there, so, you know, it's pretty good. We will see more of them in the future, so we'll just have to wait. But indeed, you know, pretty good episode, so check it out if you haven't. And with that, we do have some more behind-the-scenes kind of things with Hawkgirl and space and other kind of stuff like that going on over here.
So yeah, Hawkgirl. Quite a fantastic character who is teamed up with Hawkman. So for Hawkman, we've already seen him in cartoon form. That was way back in 1967 with the very short filmation series of Hawkman and Justice League of America, where Hawkman was partnered up with his bird buddy, Skreel, and not Hawkgirl. So this featured cartoon is not only the first time we see Hawkgirl, but the first time we see her teamed up with her fighting partner, Hawkman. So it's pretty awesome all around. As for Hawkgirl herself, let us take a little deeper look. So, way back in the Golden Age, we have a character named Shayera Sanders, and she first appeared in Flash Comics #1 in 1940, which was also the first appearance of Hawkman. For this one though, Shayera did not have any superpowers or any super suit or anything. She was not Hawkgirl yet. She was a love interest for Hawkman, aka Carter Hall. What we learn is that Shayera and Carter Hall are reincarnations of some ancient Egyptians. For Shayera, she is the reincarnation of Egyptian princess Shayera, and Carter Hall was the reincarnation of Prince Khufu. They were murdered by the villainous Hatset with a knife that was forged from metal. Very powerful metal. The metal and the love that Shayera had with Prince Khufu was so profoundly strong that they kept reincarnating century after century after century, and they kept meeting up with each other, to where we get to the reincarnation at the Hawkman storyline. So for quite a while, Shayera Sanders just kind of hung out with Carter Hall as he did his Hawkman stuff, until we get to All-Star Comics #5 in 1941, where she first appears as Hawkgirl. She is given a similar type of uniform as Hawkman, made by the Nth Metal as well, giving her a lot of abilities, and they both fight crime and evil together in a fantastic partnership. So all is good there, until the golden age of comics has been coming to an end. A lot of characters and a lot of titles have completely stopped until the dawn of the Silver Age of comics, where a lot of these characters, just kind of picked up where they left off, or, for the most part, were completely reimagined. Such was the case with Hawkman and Hawkgirl. The new Silver Age Hawkman and Hawkgirl first appeared in The Brave and the Bold number 34 in 1961. No longer are they the reincarnations of Egyptian royalty. No! They are now aliens that look completely human, and they come from the planet Thanagar, where on this planet, Hawkgirl, aka Shayera Hol, is married to Carter Hol, and they are both law enforcement officers from their planet. After an adventure which led them to the planet Earth, they decided to stay on Earth and fight crime and evil here. Their uniforms and weapons are actually the police uniforms from the planet Thanagar, which just so happen to look exactly like the Golden Age uniforms from these characters. So Hawkman and Hawkgirl do have a lot of abilities, which is awesome. They can both fly with their fantastic wings. They both have superhuman strength, superhuman vision, superhuman healing factor, endurance, hearing. Good lord, they're kind of like Superman, hey? In a way, not as strong and powerful, but still kind of in that same realm of superpowers. And it's this version of Hawkman and Hawkgirl that we see in our featured Super Friends episode. So with all of that, we are caught up to where the character first appeared in cartoon form, which would be 1977. So with this cartoon taking place in 1977 with a space angle, let's talk a little bit about the astronauts and the equipment that they used. So, the astronauts were flying up to the Skylab, which, if you didn't know, was absolutely a real thing. The first American space station, which was built from the components of a Saturn V rocket, and was operational at the time of the cartoon. So that part is pretty cool, but with the astronauts who flew to the Skylab, they were flying on something that looked kind of like a cross between a rocket and a space shuttle. So 1977, right? Like, this was a time when NASA was still using the Saturn V rockets to get up in space, but was also at the end of the Saturn-type rockets. They were becoming replaced with the new, fancy, and absolutely gorgeous space shuttles. So even though the first space shuttle went into space in 1981 with the Space Shuttle Columbia, the first test flights were happening with the space shuttles in 1977 with the Space Shuttle Enterprise. So at the time of this cartoon, man, like, if you're into space exploration, like, this was a really exciting time, right? Like, the new space flying vehicles. And if you're a big Star Trek fan like me, like, man, this thing was called the Enterprise? Like, that is freaking awesome! But with all of those things there, we're pretty much caught up with everything. Well, for the most part. For the other things, we'll get to them when we get to them. So with this, that, those, and the other things, I guess that's that. Also, if you're interested, I created my own comic book channel, 215 Comics. And currently, I have created my own cartoon series, The Adventures of the Density. And recently started a radio series featuring my newest character, Elastoma, with more titles to come. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link up top here to that channel and some links at the end of the video. Yeah! Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, feel free to do so. Or anything else, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, have a great day. Thanks.